flight that is about to change the lives of 18 young Kiwis. It's the Winter Camp, an annual pilgrimage to China where groups of New Zealand Chinese get to experience their culture firsthand.
Most of the students here, they really don't know much about China. So they're really in for some sort of cultural shock.
Actually, we were all running around going, we're in China! Because it's like, I don't know, I think for a lot of people on the trip, I don't know if many people had gone to China or if many people had even travelled that much before. Like, I know one girl on the trip, she had never even left New Zealand before, I think.
For my family especially, it was a very special time. Myself included, there were 4 of us from our sort of semi-extended family. For us to go and spend time away together, we bonded more as family than we ever had before.
The first stop was the city of Foshan in the Guangdong province, where for 4 days they would learn martial arts and Chinese language.
Not only we got value out of it, but the people who were teaching us, I think they found that us moving outside our comfort zone and doing something that we don't do as part of everyday life, I think they may have gained a slight respect for us. It was decided between the guys that we'd perform a haka after we'd performed our kung fu demonstration in front of our sponsors. For us it was, you know, a very, very passionate sort of moment, a bit of Kiwiana in the whole thing. Afterwards, and they came up and told us that they were scared, and I'm thinking, well, these guys can't be scared.
The next part of the trip was definitely the highlight, where students finally got to meet their relatives.
But when we actually take students back there, some students actually have an address of a home, and when they actually go in and see this house where their grandparents were actually born, where they lived, and everything is exactly how it was when they left. Nothing has been turned. So they get very emotional, and they actually can see what it was like for their grandparents, and they actually feel that they're very, very lucky that they're actually in New Zealand now.
Well, one truly amazing aspect of the trip for me was, you know, we travelled halfway around the world from our places in New Zealand to visit these villages, and to walk into one of the houses in the villages and find that there was another tour group member there, and she goes, "Dude, I'm related to you." It's like, this is not possible. So, yeah, we cracked out a family map, and there it is. We're related, third cousins.
Great-grandfathers are brothers. Wow, this is exciting, isn't it? These guys must be...
As we're walking through, it's just looking at all the things around. It's like, wow, you know, you don't see these things every day. And actually getting into the house and going, whoa, now I know why my grandparents shifted over from China to New Zealand to make a better life for themselves and to make a better life for us. Because by looking at that house, I could visualise them in it, and scarily enough, I could visualise me in it too. It was one of those things. They didn't move. I could have been one of those kids in the village.
My dad had taken photos when he'd gone to the village a few years ago, and he took a photograph of the street sign so that if he ever returned, or if anyone else ever returned, they'd know. And I was just trying to see if I could match the photos up to the actual what I was seeing. You can. This is the street in the photo, in the photo. Let's see here. Yeah! This is the street, right here, where my dad is standing in his photo when he went. Is it your dad? Yeah, this is my dad. I don't know, I was just so full of excitement because everything was happening. It was happening so fast. It was all whirring around, and I was thinking, we're going to see this house, and it's the house that, you know, that's the roots that our family's from, and it was just such a big thing. So I climb up this ladder and I reach out for this photo and start dusting it off. Oh, it's empty. It's been removed. Oh no! Who is this?
Yeah. I've seen that photo. There's some photos that your dad took.
After that initial burst of excitement and crawling around on the ledge and dusting myself off, our aunties gave us some incense and we did it properly. We climbed up again and put the incense in and paid respects to the ancestors.
You're going to tell them which side.
It was there and it was happening, and this was a place that I knew because I recognised the photo, so it was definitely something that was ours or in our family. So when my grandmother came, she went swimming in the river here, right? With Lucy's.
Is that they really don't know what they're in for. They really don't know what they're in for. It's like a story that's just beginning and then it folds at the end. It's just something that they have to go through.
Witnessing everyone experience this inspired me to do the same. Janet took me to my ancestral village where the first person to greet me, I would later find out, was my auntie.
Do you know this person here?
Initially, there was some confusion about exactly how we were related. So I called my auntie in New Zealand to find out my grandfather's Chinese name. This soon sorted out exactly how we were related.
My great-grandfather's picture.
My uncle then led me to the house where my great-grandfather grew up.
Oh, working. Look at that.
I never thought in 1,000 years that I would hold a photo of my great-grandfather in his ancestral house in China. It's an experience I'd never forget, a connection with this strange but familiar place.
And sometimes you're at a loss. You are Chinese, but you don't know anything about your background. A month is not a long time for you to find out, but it gives you an idea of where you come from, and it also helps you do something about being Chinese with your kids, later on in life.
A trip to China isn't complete without a visit to the Great Wall, but for the Wong family, it was more than just sightseeing.
My dad's sister, Kalina, she was victim of a suicide bomb on the Great Wall. This is a photo of her on the wall prior to her passing away in 1988. Once we got to the top and we decided that this is the place where we're going to put the flowers, put the photo, and just say a little prayer to ourselves and a little prayer for our auntie, it sort of started hitting us. Well, this is part of our family history. One of our aunties has been here, and unfortunately for us, she passed away here. And to cram all those emotions of being here and a part of history and one of the greatest monuments in modern culture, it was mixing a lot of emotions and feelings into one, and sort of came out to be an interesting mix in the end.
Today I have this opportunity to actually give the younger people an insight about their Chinese heritage. I'm really doing something that I wish I had the opportunity to do when I was their age.
I'd definitely encourage other New Zealand-born Chinese to go and do a trip very similar. We got a lot of cultural and heritage value out of it. Meeting relatives that took us in like, we were their own. You're still family. You're still one of them. Going back to the villages, discovering a piece of my own family history, made friends for life, really.
It was an amazing experience, and there are definitely some strong bonds now.
At the end of the day, I think really, and they actually see that they are Chinese.